Tasmania, Australia. 200 years ago, early European settlers stumbled upon a creature so terrifying that they named it the devil. Its spine-chilling screeches, harsh coughs and snarls, pitch-black colouring with ghost-white markings, bad temper, sharp claws, and unnerving gallop gave the sarcophagus hericity a fierce reputation. Tasmanian devils are the largest carnivorous marsupial in Australia, weighing in at up to 12 kilos and measuring up to the size of a small dog. Good things come in small packages. Oh, and if you're scared of the dark, don't move to Tasmania. They're nocturnal scavengers who completely devour their prey. Bones, fur, everything. Eating anything alive or dead that is available, be that wallabies, small mammals, birds, reptiles, and even insects. Communal feedings at large carcasses are famous because of their spectacular noises and displays of physicality. If that's not enough, they can climb trees. But while you would think a creature of this calibre would be near indestructible, the Tasmanian devil is actually endangered and really needs our help. Tasmanian devils were extinct on mainland Australia well before European settlement, but fossils show that more than 5,000 years ago they were regularly terrorising this sunburnt country. Increasing aridity and the invasive dingo species is believed to have driven them to extinction on the mainland. With no dingoes, Tasmania became the only area in Australia where these little hooas could naturally occur. Today they are still found in pretty much every type of habitat in the down under of down under. Anywhere they can find shelter by day and food by night, they are happy tenants. Their landlords, however, haven't always enjoyed their party antics. Early European settlers considered the Tasmanian devil a right nuisance. In 1830, a 30-cent bounty was introduced because of devil pack raids on farms. They were trapped and poisoned for over a century, heading for extinction until they were protected in June 1941. And since then, numbers gradually increased to historic highs 25 years ago. Threats like loss of habitat and competition with invasive species have been a factor, but hands down the most devastating threat to emerge has been the devil facial tumour disease. The disease was first noticed in the mid-1990s, but has become more prevalent than ever expected. Since the aggressive and species-specific disease was officially identified in 1996, massive decreases in population occurred, with numbers dwindling by up to 94% in some areas of Tasmania. The devil facial tumour disease is a contagious cancer, one of only 2 known contagious cancers in the whole world. It had to choose bloody Tasmania. It affects mostly sexually mature devils, with transmission occurring when devils make contact with one another, generally through biting, a common behaviour in mating. Sexually mature by their second birthdays, they would normally live it up in the wild for the rest of their 8 years. But once the devil is infected, small lesions develop in and around their mouth area, which is an area that is frequently bitten. The lesions have been known to appear around the eyes and neck as well. It gets worse. These lesions develop into large tumorous masses, which prevent the devil from being able to eat. This leads to starvation and death. The cancer also spreads to the internal organs, leading to organ failure and death. Once the lesions are visibly present, there is a 100% mortality rate. Researchers once thought that the low genetic variability of Tasmanian devils explained the inevitable super quick fast spread of the disease amongst the species. Upon further investigation, however, this simple enough to understand theory was, of course, questioned and replaced with a significantly more complicated molecular-based one. Normally, the body, anybody's body, rejects pathogens that cause disease, such as viruses, bacteria, and other microorganisms. But the devil facial tumour disease wasn't being fought off by their perfectly intact immune systems that were otherwise still completely functional. So researchers upped the fancy pants. Cells, native or foreign to the body, actively express proteins that signal their presence and purpose. Most pathogens produce peptide fragments, parts of proteins, making it possible for major histocompatibility complex molecules to bind to the peptide fragments and present them on the surface of the cell, exposing the pathogen to the immune system's T cells for recognition and destruction. Most pathogens actively express. Unfortunately, no one told the devil facial tumour disease that. It doesn't actively express and is therefore invisible to the immune system, allowing for infection until death. Scary, hey? And I'm not just talking about the fancy pants language.
Conservation efforts have been in place for many years. Things got serious in 2008 when Tasmania's Threatened Species Protection Act officially upgraded Tasmanian devils to the endangered status. As you now know, many factors and situations over the years have led to the Tasmanian devil to hold an endangered species status. With increasing vulnerability, the Threatened Species Scientific Advisory Committee recently recommended that they be moved up the list.
Trying to combat the disease, researchers created a vaccine that makes the disease cells visible to the immune system, causing an immune response to the pathogen. The testing and success of this vaccine has been limited, but it's still early stages. Without a booster, and when re-exposed within 12 months, lesions developed in just weeks. Desperate for a long-term solution, researchers are continuing their tests and hope to be targeting wild devils in the near future. Although many challenges are ahead, this vaccine could prove to be the difference in extinction for Tasmanian devils. Captive breeding programs have shown considerable success in the creation of insurance populations. Both wild and captive-born devils are being used in breeding programs across Australia to ensure at least 95% genetic diversity is maintained. They get their sexy on in March with births in April. The reproductive cycles of the Tasmanian devil are closely monitored by handlers who regularly check if females are ready to get jiggy with it. This is done by getting close and personal with the poop. Yes, they have to touch it, squish it, smear it, sniff it, taste it. Okay, maybe that's getting carried away. They probably didn't taste it, but people get ideas, don't judge. This process heightens the chance of little devil babies.
The first ever Tasmanian devil translocation project was started in 2012 when the Mara Island was chosen as the destination. In the hope to improve the damage that's been done, 15 disease-free devils were released onto the island to secure a disease-free insurance population.
In recent years, conservation organisations have begun running a program called the Devil Island Project. 4 small 60-acre islands were selected as Devil Islands, now hosting quarantined, disease-free devils. The transmission of the disease is prevented by isolation and a double fence system. The islands are enclosed, but the devils are able to roam free in their natural habitat, maintaining their natural behaviours. Each island even has a designated area for a little hanky-panky time. And if a spunky male happens to get lucky, it will increase their chances of survival. What a noble soul. Many more reintroduction and translocation projects have been planned for the future, but require backing. Tasmanian devils need our help, and they need it now more than ever. Much needed conservation efforts are producing positive results that, if supported, can continue. Extinction is forever, but not all hope is lost for these amazing, albeit slightly scary little guys. Not yet. Visit www.savethetasmaniandevil.org.au to find out how you can help.